Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. I'm one half of the DungeonsSwag.com team, and I am having some video problems. Somebody commented that my videos need to be turned. I don't know how to do that. People complained when I filmed it in like the upright camera deal, and I can't fix that. I don't know. I'm not smart. I looked through the options. I couldn't figure out what to do. I'm sorry. So I can either record this way, sideways, which on my screen it doesn't actually look sideways. Wait a minute. I have a question about that. Yeah. So on my screen, it does not look sideways. This looks upright to me as I'm recording. I'm sorry. The other way is, like I said, turning the phone up and down, and then it cuts off sides of the camera, and people can't see that. So I want to apologize right off the bat. I don't have a solution. I am going to look at buying a camera maybe, but until then, I don't have another way to do it. So I'm in the 3.5 Monster Manual. Sorry for killing a minute of our work there. This is a Lich. The Lich entry... It gives you a sample Lich. It gives you the rules for creating a Lich. And a Lich is basically an undead magic user who has found a way to create a phylactery, or I think Horcrux is what they called it in Harry Potter, and put the essence of their life into something else, and as their body rots away, they continue to live indefinitely as the undead. So, they're not particularly weak, and depending on how you build them, they can be insanely strong. Turning like a paladin into one of these, or a evil cleric into one of these, can be super dangerous for the party. But even magic users, a sorcerer or a wizard can be super dangerous. So I have a couple hero clicks I pulled out. This one's kind of big for what I wanted to do. Let me see. I'm gonna get an official mini here. I have Hamilton. That's way big. And that's not super way big. So we're gonna use this one, and we'll save him for some other cool enemy or something. So we want to get this guy off the base right off the bat. I'm just going to get my snippers. Actually, I'm just going to cut him off the base because I'm not using that base piece for anything. And we need a base. Okay. My glue gun hot. Oh, it looks hot. Okay. And we just want to set this on here as flat as we can and get some stupor glue. Hello, stupor glue. Okay. I want to do something with this guy that I don't normally do. Wrong box. Which box is this? I could not find the box. So I normally just do baking soda. I want to do something a little different on this guy because he's going to be like in the ruins of a dungeon. So what I want to do is I'm just going to get some of this real thin foam. And I want to cut a couple mock bricks. And I'm just doing my base a little different than normal. Not a whole lot. It's not going to be devastatingly different. And for those of you that like the way I do it normally, you can do that still. This is just something I kind of want to do to make it a little different. And then with this last piece, I want to rip some of that off. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the baking soda. And I'm just going to sprinkle it all on there. I'm just going to fill those cracks up nice and sturdy. Something like that. That's just because that's what I wanted to do. You don't have to do that again. I just wanted it to be a little different than I normally do for some reason. So I want to rough these up a little bit. And so just to rough those up, all I'm going to do is get my tinfoil ball and just kind of smush those around. And they're going to pop up some, but it's going to save some of that texture. All right, let's get our boy. This is going to be the boy who would be Lich. This is like an orc dude from like the Lord of the Rings HeroClix. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this dude into a Lich. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his dagger or sword or whatever this is off. And there's a little bit of his foot sticking back here that I didn't get off real well. I'm just going to come back and clean up his foot. I'm going to put him on my base. Then we are going to have to add a little bit of baking soda just to make sure things stay sturdy. So I just tap it down with my finger so it comes off his feet and lands in the cracks. And then I'm just going to put a little dibby dab on there. Maybe. Is this plugged up? I could have swore I was just using it fine. Let me get a paper clip. Couldn't find one. That was small. They had plastic on them, so. There we go. And I'm just going to try it again and see if I have any glue in here. There we go. There's glue in there. Alright, he's not quite as sturdy as I wanted, so I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm going to tap it so it goes down in the cracks. Okay, there we go. So I was out of town for a couple of days, and just one overnight though. And so I did not make a video yesterday, but the day before I did make two. So I hope that was enough for the people that are binge watchers and stuff or that, you know, are tuning in. I hope that was enough for you guys to get your fix. I know I like to watch YouTube, and more so now that I have the channel than I did before, actually. And I know it's frustrating when you're wanting something that doesn't come out. So to change this miniature up a little bit, because I'm not super pleased with his situation, what I want to do is I want to make kind of like a loincloth front part for him. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just getting a piece and rough cutting out this almost like shield-like pattern. And then I'm going to twist that around a little bit. But before I get too into that, let me get a long skinny piece. And I want to kind of mount that on the front right there. But I want to make sure it's not so long that it hits the ground. So let's get a tiny, tiny dab of glue. Like that. And let's get a stick and rub it all down the middle like this. And then mount that on there. And we want it to be centered. Oh, I messed up. Alright. You only had one go on that bad boy. That's okay. So I've cut out another one. And I'm going to get a piece to mount in the middle. And this time I'm going to be extra careful putting it down. So to be extra careful putting it down this time, my plan is a little better. Put my oh, that's a lot, damn it. I'm going to put my dibby dab. And then so I can see where I'm going with it, and I place it straight, I'm going to come down like this and center it that way. Okay. Now I can come back and snip off the excess. Then I want to dry it, make sure that's dry. And I'm going to use something round or something that has an edge, and I'm just going to bend that a little bit so it has a natural curvature that'll fit on his crotch piece. And I'm going to get my tweezers and dry fit that. Maybe I'll get my tweezers. Okay. So I'm going to dry fit that to see if it's too big, and it's about exactly what I wanted. Unfortunately, I do need to do something with this. So for that piece where his cod piece is there, I'm just going to get my knife and skim it down a little bit. Just to take that little bump off so it sits a little flusher where I want it to. I might need to do that a little bit more. Okay. Just go up and then go down and cut out a little 90 right there. Okay. I'm going to get the tiniest dab of hot glue. Shove that into that crack. And then pull it out so it's 3D. Okay. And it's just brush on the floor a little bit. And we can just sprinkle a little glue here to catch that to the floor. And then strengthen it up and get it on his body. Okay. Alright, I'm not super unpleased, but it's not perfect yet. So, does he have a staff in this posture? I don't think a staff would be ideal. A wand, meh, I never really thought wands were super cool. But I want to do something with him there to kind of spice him up. So let's think of what our options are. Let's cut some pieces of straight cardstock and see what we can do with that. Okay, so with a semi-straight piece of cardstock, what can we do? We can do like a sash coming down from his shoulder, something like that. And that could look okay. No, it's not going to look okay. All right, well, I think we're kind of stuck where we're at then. That's what we can do with our Lich. So why don't we just quickly hit him with a +2 hotter gun of burning so I can satisfy your need for magic. And I'm going to get a piece of fabric and wipe off that excess glue that we got around the base. Oh, that one's dry already. It's there permanently. Okay. Should be all the excess glue here. Sweet. All right, I'm going to hit him with the black real quick. Get my sleeve. Pardon me, I'm dying to death. All right. Getting a small, well, not small, a big size 4 flat brush. Checking to make sure he's not all sticky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint him in my favorite color in the world, from top to bottom, including his base. This is Pavement by Apple Barrel. It's a Walmart garbage paint. I love it. This color is so good. And I'm just going to get in all his cracks and everywhere on him, base included. I'm going to turn him pavement. Underneath his robes and stuff, behind, underneath his crotch piece here, can't really get in there. I'm not going to worry about that. It can stay black. If you don't have a couple good miniatures to use as liches, at least one, try to make one. It's good to have not use the same miniature for a lich over and over again. So if you need some other kind of intelligent undead later on, you can, dual purpose these, but it's important that you have a lich. It really is, because it's such an iconic enemy, especially if you're bringing players in that have played the Harry Potter, or watched Harry Potter, or read the books. Voldemort is a lich. That's just what that dude is. He's a lich. It might sound crazy, but he's a wizard who has found a way to prolong his life by creating a phylactery or horcrux. Now, that dude created like 5 or 7 of them. Generally, one does it. But he was apparently interested in fracturing his spirit enough that if you found one of his phylacteries, you couldn't kill him. Plus 2 hot air gun of burning. A little bit of magic goes a long way when you're trying to speed up a craft. Now I'm going to get a sliver of cardboard here. And I'm going to get a little bit of, yes, hear me out. This is called gray blue. If I can find it, I lost it already. Here we go. Dark blue gray. And I'm going to break up his undercoat with this. And what I'm going to do is just get a cheapy makeup brush, something like this. This is from Dollar Tree. Okay. I'm going to wipe a lot of it off. And I'm going to start bluing him up. The reason I'm going to blue him up is ultimately his skin tone is going to be blue. And I'm going to be doing his robes in some medium to dark colors that are going to be cool tone, earth tones probably. So I think that, it'll work out to have this medium, or what's this called, dark blue-gray or whatever. It'll work out in my favor, okay? All right, I'm setting that off to the side. And I'm getting the sky blue, which is a very light color. I'm getting a dab of that. And I'm going to wipe that almost to extinction. See, it's not really leaving anything now. And then I'm going to hit him all over. And then we're going to work from this point. This is our where we're starting from point here with our real good sharp paint job we're going to need. And you get down to where your brush is almost down with paint and you don't see it making a big difference, start excising the rest of that paint onto the base so we can do some cool stuff with the stones down there later on. Okay. You won't probably need your dry brush anymore, so I say it's safe to put that away. And let's start working on his flesh tone. So it looks like his flesh is sticking out on his arms there, on his hands, and on his head. So to do his flesh tone, we're getting a really light gray. This is called granite gray. It's a whitish light gray. And we're going to get, well, we probably better not use the size 3 brush. Let's get the Army Painter starter brush, which it doesn't say size 1 on it, but I think it is about a size 1. Let's wipe a lot of our paint off. And then come back and hit his face. With that. This is not quite a dry brush. There's a little bit of paint on here, And we're just dragging it lightly though, because we're trying to catch features and details and lighten it up. Then we want to catch the musculature on his arms. And see how that just kind of disappears back into his cape there on mine. Watch what your model's doing and take hints from it. See where it's pointing you to go. Okay, something like that. Now what I want to do is I want to get a darkish blue. I have this kind of wet mountain blue that I don't get to use too often because it's so wet. I'm going to wash my brush out. I'm going to get some of this mountain blue, and I'm going to start doing his all his robe parts, but I'm not doing his cape just yet. I'm just doing the robe parts. So I'm doing this loincloth part that's going down to the ground. And like I said, this is a really watered down paint. I didn't water it down, it came this way. And we're just taking our time. When I go around the edges here, how I tend to stay in the lines the way I do when I'm taking my time like this is I don't pretend I'm painting. I think of it as I'm getting like a marker or a pencil and I'm tracing something. And I just take my time and do the same, method I would trace something with a pen or a marker, like I just said, or pencil. Okay. So something like that to get us started. It's a dark blue. It's looking okay. Now we have to do these pants underneath. I'm just going to grab one shade lighter of blue. Something mid-tone. This is a ward blue. And I'm leaving that in my brush because I think this, I might have to do some mixing here because that, looking at how dry that is probably more than one shade down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dab a blue there. I'm going to get a dab of this blue. And I'm going to mix them together. Just like that. Now I'm going to come in here and hit these pants up with that. And I am not doing an exceptionally good job trying to cover every little piece of this pants. I'm just hitting them. Because there's going to be natural darkness and stuff, so if you just kind of make a stripe down either side like I did, you can leave a little bit of that exposed in there. It'll be okay. It won't be noticeable in the finished product, I don't think. So this looks like some kind of bone things up on his shoulder, and that's what we're going to try to do with those. I'm not sure what this thing on his chest is here at all. I'm really not. We're going to let that dry, though, before we move on to the next part. And while we're waiting for that to dry, let's put our blues away. I'm getting this dark purple called Purple Pansy. And I'm going to hit this cloak. And as I said with the pants, if I can't get in every crack and everywhere, I'm not going to sweat it too much. Because it's going to create some natural variations that we can use to our advantage down the road if we don't hit every single spot. So let's talk about origins of liches. You want to make an interesting lich for your campaign. One, you have to choose how much the world knows about that lich's existence. One, know who knows about the lich, if anybody knows about the lich, and how common the lich is about keeping itself secret or letting itself be known. For example, a powerful lich is leading an army of undead across the world each night. Everybody kind of knows that story. Maybe they know a little bit about it, or they've heard the legend. Okay? Might not even be a lich. Might be a necromancer. We don't know. Or two, the lich, for no reason whatsoever, does not give its, or not for no reason, but under no circumstances whatsoever, lets anybody know about its existence. Its servants work through the dark, hiding from the world, hoping not to betray their dark master. That's the first thing you need to know if you're going to make a lich. What's your lich doing? Why is it doing it? Okay. The next thing you need to know when you make a lich is how long has it been a lich? Because having a lore source to fuel the lich, in its story is important, he or she. So, how long has this been a lich? Make yourself a little note card about the lich. How long has it been a lich? Why did it choose to become a lich? How does it do its business? Openly, or does it hide its business? These are important things to know. I'm getting some black here because his boots are metallic. And I'm just using a damp brush that I dampened with my mouth. And I'm going to paint his little boots black. So we're creating our lich still. What do we do next? Well, we need to know what he wants. Why did he need immortality? Is there a bigger story that we can add into our campaign somewhere? Can this have a direct impact on other parts of story we're trying to tell? Because you don't want to just add something this powerful without a reason. Liches are really strong. They are not like I was saying earlier, like a paladin lich or a strong evil cleric lich. That's a big gun bad guy. That is somebody who can do serious AoE stuff, self-healing, smiting attacks, depending. Dark magic that's going to weaken the party to the point where no one has the good saves they need against that enemy because they can, spontaneous cast harm spells if they need to, and they can, depending on what spells they have prepared. But any lich, it's going to be the same deal, really. But why? What do they want? Why are they a lich? Why did they become a lich? What are they trying to accomplish? Are they just trying to live forever and have power because they are afraid of death? Are they trying to right a wrong? Are they trying to hold someone accountable for some kind of behavior? You don't damn your soul for eternity on a whim. So when their time is up here, they are damned. If a lich is destroyed, they're going to the infernal plane. They're not going to hang out, or maybe they're going to the abyssal plane, depending on. And in my system, they're just going to to the hells. But how did they get to this point? Is the question. Okay. For his wrist wraps, I'm just going to use a reddish brown color that contrasts with what else I've been working on here. I'm looking for a specific color called chocolate bar. There it is. It's a little watery and it's reddish brown. So yeah, what do they want is a very important question. What will they do if they get what they want? Will they succumb to the calling to end their self? Will they continue to drive on and find new reasons to stay afloat? Will they use whatever they've been searching for to accomplish yet another goal or end or mean? Know enough about your lich, that if you were to engage in a conversation with that lich, with characters in your group, that they would be able to get the information that's pertinent to what's happening. I'm not saying to give them all that information, but to have enough information to do that. With that same brown, I'm going to touch this weird crotch decoration. Then I'm going to come back and hit that with something like gold or something. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Then with these bones up here, I think what the secret to those is going to be to do those in like a beige or something and then lighten them up. I'll use this khaki for my bones. Does this Lich have allies? Does he work alone? What does he have at his disposal besides I'm a Lich? Chances are, if he's been around a while, he's got deals with some kind of dark forces. One that either gave him the knowledge, or two, maybe he researched it. I don't know. It depends. I mean, if you're a Lich, you got to figure out how he got here. Because this is not just a throw at your table random encounter. This is something you've had to have planned. You're not just going to roll Lich on a table most of the time, depending on what system you're playing. I don't know of any system that has Lich on the random tables, unless it's somewhere and I just missed it or didn't believe it and chose not to see it. I don't know. So build your Lich, take your time, come up with some ideas of why your Lich exists, what it wants, what it's going to do if it gets what it wants. Give it some dimension, is what I'm saying. Don't let it be something generic and wasted. And never use a Lich as your final big bad, unless you have a Lich with a twist. Always use a Lich as a high medium to low high level or strength foe that consumes more resources than it should of what your party has for the day. Like, if you look at how the CR system, which is poorly designed, but if you look at how it's designed, it is designed that a fight of CR to your party should roughly take 1/4 or 1/5 of your party's combat economic resource for the day. I don't play it that way because I don't think that you're ever going to get a fair balanced system using that equation, but that's the design of the CR system in 3.5. We should be using between 1/5 and 1/4 of our heal spells for the day, of our potions for the day, of our spell slots for the day, of our whatever, uses of whatever we have. Now, when you talk about fighters and stuff, that's not even a real issue, because fighters can just do everything all day long with no slots. Unless you're talking about 4th edition, which is like a video game. Oh, about special attacks, man. Don't worry, I have a 1 hit point minion, bro. But anyways, what kind of special things can your Lich do? What kind of supernatural abilities does your Lich have that's not out of the book? That's important. The book Lich is a little lackluster. It has some magic casting and undead traits. But why can't your Lich do something insane like rip holes in between realms and start pulling evil through while it's fighting you? How cool would that be? That'd be sick. Maybe every round, Lich has a chance to hit you with some kind of necromantic attack that starts to rot you and eat you away, possibly turning you into a Lich over time. Or maybe not a Lich, but, a ghoul or a ghast or something. This is the kind of stuff that makes enemies terrifying. That in this fight, this Lich is every round rolling to determine who they think is the easiest to manipulate and starts trying to intentionally mind control them, but not with a spell slot, but as an innate ability, because they've spent their Lichdom practicing manipulation and control and dark arts involving willpower. You can do that. You have the ability to do that. It is your creature. Hasbro does not own your imagination. Make your Lich terrifying. Make your Lich next level baddie. Make him memorable. Make people at the end of the night talk about the Lich fight as everybody's getting ready to go and they're outside having a smoke or finishing their beer or helping clean up or whatever activity happens when you guys are done. That's your chance right there to find out how good your Lich was, and that you do that by making a Lich that they're going to talk about. If you just make a Lich and they walk in and slaughter it, use Harry Potter as a reference. Let's say they walk in and start beating the hell out of your Lich too fast. Your Lich is not as good as you thought. Then all you do is readjust your Lich's stats and have him rise up again. They did not destroy his phylactery. That is unfortunate. but it's your Lich. It's your creature. And you can always have those Final Fantasy 2-tier boss fights. And a Lich is a good one for that. Don't follow the rules. It says a Lich takes this many days to start reforming after, it's destroyed, if its phylactery is still intact. No. This thing's got a stash of extra bodies in the next room. It's coming right out at him again. This time it's more armored and using less magic and mind control and using brute force and its undead capabilities. You kill it, it comes back this time with the body of a former wild magic user, maybe. Same deal. It's using different techniques. It's reinvigorated. It's got a fresh new corpse that's been sitting there in stasis waiting for it, maybe with general repose cast on it, so it's less undead looking. Maybe someone the party knows, even like an NPC that helped them early on get a start, has been taken by the Lich and its body is being used, and it creates a whole new element to the fight that now they want to try to save an old friend. Be interesting with your Liches. Don't waste them. You can't throw more than one Lich in a campaign unless you have some kind of super Lich political tier system. Make your Lich interesting. Know facts about it. Have some ideas of what it can do. Now we're going to get a metallic. I'm starting with this gold. And what I want to do is I want to get this gold, and I just want to get a tiny bit of it and wipe most of it off. Okay? And then I want to hit this ugly belt thing. And just pick out a little bit of detail on the ugly belt thing. Okay? And then I want to do the same thing with his wrists. And I'm just dragging it upon the center part of the wrists and not the whole wrist guard. Just the center part where those two center stripes are. And I'm just doing that to add some detail, to add some interest, to break up the monotony of that brown. And I am going to come back and hit that with a lighter reddish brown too. Just like I'm going to touch the blue and I'm going to touch the purple. Okay? On his chest here, he's got some metallic. We're going to leave that for last. So let's switch to a medium blue and start working his clothes down, and a medium purple and start working his cloak. So for my medium purple, I have this is called Concord Grape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a crappy brush that has a very soft tip. Something like that. I'm not using like a typical coarse brush that you wouldn't dry brush with normally, is what I'm saying. Something's cheapy and soft. And I'm going to drag out a rough lightning coat just on the pop outs. And I'm not doing it evenly or perfectly. See that? I'm just kind of hitting it in some spots. Then I'm going to get a little bit more on my brush than last time. And I'm going to hit the higher area a little, get one more time, and then just hit a random spot down there. And that's going to create some serious variation right off the bat. I'm going to put my purple away, rinse that brush out, and I'm going to grab that award blue we had. Or what's this? Blue Kazoo. I'm going to grab this blue Kazoo. I'm going to put that brush down. I'm going to get a brush that has a little bit harder bristles, because we got some areas we got to kind of dig into with this. Oh, that's too light. Hold on. Plot twist. Too light. We are going to use that award blue. Okay. We're going to get that award blue. And we're going to really wipe a lot of that off. Then we're going to test it on his, like, whatever this piece is called here. Yep. We're just going to come back and forth on this. Over and over again with a very small amount of paint. We're just going to lighten that up slowly. And we're going to start hitting in here real light. And all we're trying to do is catch a little bit of detail in there, nothing significant. And since the other color was a mix of blue, we can also use it along that pant leg and create some depth. Okay? Now, his skin is still a little bland. We still have to do some metallic stuff to do. So let's get on that. So for the metallic, I'm using that same brush I just used because it's going to be easy access. And I'm getting this silver gunmetal here. I'm going to get a dibby dab of that. And then I'm going to wipe a ton of that off the brush. And it's okay if your brush has got a little bit on there still, you know. And I'm just touching the boots where the metallic parts are. Well, all of them are metallic. The boots are metal. I am not lightening these up and making these full silver. I'm keeping them dark. And then I'm going to hit this thing on his chest with that same metallic. Oh, it's a skull, I think. Not a very nice one. I'm just going to do the metallic on that, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit it with that same metallic again. But first, let me get most of it off the brush. Okay. Something like that. Now, he looks a lot like Voldemort, and he's a little too white for me. So what I want to do is I want to make him a little sickly. So I'm going to clean that brush out. I'm going to put it away. And I'm going to get my other brush. I use this brush. And I'm going to get a little piece of plastic. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a normal water. You know, let's just make a wash real quick. All right, so I'm just going to get a fatter brush that has some water in it. Right there. Okay. Something like that. And then I'm going to get, where's that pigment at? No, I want that blue, that dark gray blue. Dark blue gray. I'm going to get that dark blue gray and that paint there, that water there. Whoa, shit. Oh, damn you, arthritis. I'm going to get some of that paint. I'm going to water this down and make a wash. And since there's already soap in my backwash water, or in my brush water, this is going to be okay. And I'm just going to drag it along and getting him darkened up a little bit and get rid of some of that white. See that? I'm going to hit it in there on his arms, his little hands. Okay. That darkened him up so he's a little less, what's that guy's name? Voldemort looking. Plus 2 hot air gun of burning, but first, kids, let's keep our water out and keep this going. My brush is very wet. I have that same gray we just put on his skin. Let's paint one of these bricks with that. And let's make sure it doesn't drip too much over the sides, just a little bit. Then let's get some different colors. So I'm going to get, this is that pigment I use all the time. My brush is wet still. I'm going to grab a dab of that, just a dibby dab. I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to hit another one of his bricks with that. I'm just going to do the rough shape of it. Okay. Then I'm going to get that gray blue color that I like so much. A little more water. Dibby dab of that. Oh, I think I already used the gray blue. That's all right. We'll use it again. We'll just mix it with that one and make another tone. I'm just going to paint that brick with that. I'm going to get a little more blue. This is that mountain blue that I used earlier too. Dip of that. Blue that up. I'm going to hit another brick with that. Okay. I like that color a lot, so I'm going to hit this one over here too. Okay. Then I'm going to get a lighter color. I'm going to steal a dibby dab of that. Oh, didn't get it. There we go. I'm going to mix it in with that and lighten that up. Just like that. I'm going to hit this one in the back with that color. Then I'm going to mix that with the blue and make a barely light blue color. Just like that. And I'm going to do that little patch in front of him with that. And there's some variation there that with a really light dry brush might look okay. Might look okay. I'm kind of experimenting as we go. Okay. Get all this paint put away. +2 hot air gun of burning. Because hell with it. Let's use all its charges until it dies. Getting a fractional brush, some off-white, which is called mummy robes. I'm going to get in there and dot those eyes. Then I'm going to get a dibby dab of red. Okay. We're almost done. We're on that home stretch. This has been a long one. I know. It's because I didn't do it in 2 parts. We're going to hit him with the +2 hot air gun. One last time. We have 2 steps left. Okay. Get our cardboard back out. We're going to get the award blue. And just a spot of that. Just a drop. We're going to get that purple, the plum purple or whatever it was, the Concord grape, and just a dab of that. We're going to get that whitish gray, that granite gray. We're going to get a dab of that. Okay? You want to get a brush, not a dry brush, something that's got semi-firm bristles, but not like real firm, and that has some length where you can kind of drag it around. We're going to get a dip of the purple, a dip of the blue, dip of the light gray, and we're going to make a color to hit both a lighter tone on the blues and the purples. So now we want to wipe that brush off until there's almost nothing on there. Something like this. It's got to be kind of a softer brush. Drag it across. See that? It's already picking up some detail under the arms. If we get this on the arms, it's not going to be so noticeable that it sticks out drastically, and then hit the cloak. Okay? Then you want to focus more towards the top. And since that color is almost the same color as the arms, except for it's more bluish, I got some on the arm there, you can't really tell. Okay? I'm going to hit my clothes a little bit more. Something like that. Now we're going to use this, and we're going to get some more of that, and we're going to leave that blue in there, and we're going to lighten this up one more time. Even lighter than that, and wipe almost all that off. We're going to touch the robe. Oh, shit. No problem. Just get your finger and wipe it so where it's a little more manageable. Okay, there we go. A little underneath. A little on the top of the robe, and then we're going to hit the base with this and pick up the corners of those bricks just a little bit, just enough to show that we painted it some. Then we're going to get black and go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside, and let's take a look at him. If we did it right, he might look okay. But the proof is in the pudding, whatever that means. The proof is in the pudding. Like a little kid putting stuff up their nose. Freaky adult putting some up their rear end. I mean, what are we we talking about here? What proof and what pudding? I'm going to have to look that up to see where that saying came from. I've heard it a lot of times in my life. I've just never known the true application of it. I know what's meant by it, but I don't know where it came from or why it's said. Maybe one time somebody's like, man, dude's pie is the best in the world. Like, man, I can't believe that. And he's like, well, the proof's in the pudding. And then he tried the pie, and the pudding inside the pie was like top-notch, next level, broke his world and destroyed everything he knew. And he was like, shit, the proof is in the pudding. Maybe that was the origin of it. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Just DMing the story to you. All right. So there he is. There's our Lich. It was a long video. I'm sorry. I should have made it into 2. I was just having fun, and I didn't want to stop. So from an Orc Hero click, we now have this sick-looking Lich with these weird bones on him, wearing cool purple and blue. He's just ready to come do magic, and he's going to come out and he's going to mind control the barbarian or the frontline fighter and turn them against the party, and anybody who isn't killed will be turned into a slave. It's going to be a good fight, I hope, if we ever run it. So, my name is Doom. This has been Dungeons and Doom Biscuits. I'm one half of the DungeonSwag.com team. DungeonSwag.com has a monthly miniature service. It's like a loot crate. You pay $15.90 or $16.99. You get a box of miniatures sent in the mail. They're orcs or hobgoblins or goblins or bugbears or I can't think of what hyenamen are called. Pardon me, gnolls, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a box of heroes. And every month you're going to get a box shipped to your door at the beginning of the month. And you're going to love it. And the miniatures are going to be amazing. They're not going to be like the stuff that I'm making out of HeroClix. They're going to be high quality, good minis like this tiefling here. And with the new rule set, I think a lot of you are going to be playing tieflings. We do own several models. We also sell some one-offs on the site. Just come join our Discord as well. The link's going to be in the description for that. Paint with us. Play some RP with us. Play video games with us. Show us the stuff you're crafting. It doesn't just have to be like miniatures, and it can be terrain. It could be things you've crocheted or you've wood burnt or you've carved out of wood. We're interested in seeing all kinds of crafts because we're regular people and we're impressed by other people's artistic abilities. So come share with us and show us. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and leave me a comment. If you like the Lich, say, hey, love the Lich. If you hate the Lich, say, lame Lich, dude. But I wanted a Lich that didn't look so traditionally boring. I wanted somebody a little ripped, so a HeroClix was my natural choice. And even though I kind of initially wanted to use this guy and have him wearing some kind of like poncho thing, this ended up working out much better. And a lot of times scaling will be the reason that you make a choice anyways. Because how tall is your Lich? Was he like a Gargan? Or in my world, that's like a half giant. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I think our next entry is something different than this. It's not Lich again. It is like that Liland or whatever it's called. I can't think of what it's called. It's like a weird serpent-winged Liland, yeah. Large outsider, chaotic, extraplanar, good. Gee, that's going to be fun. See you then. Have a good night.